go through the door, then go partially down the hall, make a right, wind around, and then take the elevator up. I mean, and you all live here, so you see it all the time. Almost every time we're here, there's someone asking like, hey, I'm going to the dentist, I don't know where the dentist is, or I'm going to my eye doctor, I don't know where my eye doctor is. The signage package is actually abysmal. It's not even so-so. When you pull in right now, pay attention. I don't know, you probably just don't even pay attention to this stuff. When you pull in, that main sign in the front says Village Square offices to the right, which I have no idea whatsoever what the logic was. There's an entrance to Village Square 1 and there's an entrance to Village Square 2 there. But there's 50 parking spaces which are intended to be used for places like Donna's and the old Carl Intercoiffure. And so if you push all the office people to the right, that's all. If you came here for the first time, the sign says Village Square offices right. And it makes absolutely no sense. We're gonna bring people in and push them left and slot them into the garage and bring them up through elevators into the buildings, and we'll spruce up the elevators and we'll spruce up the elevator lobbies. It's just, it's a special place, but it's actually, for today's world, it's just not very well thought out in terms of getting around. And these are not overly complicated moves. And they don't involve doing anything, like I said, there's nothing radical that you do. I mean, I guess bringing an elevator up is somewhat radical, but not really. It just brings you up and you can get right into the courtyard and right into the office space. So I think you're completely right, and his concept of having people in the village was going in the direction of the strip mall. You all are in here right now. This feels like a special place. It's not, if you're going to some Italian restaurant in a strip mall in Timonium, you can do that in 20 different places. There aren't very many places in town, I would venture to say any places in town, where you can have this type of feel with a bunch of mature trees in a gorgeously landscaped courtyard. And by the way, the landscaping, the idea is we save almost every tree and we rip out almost every shrub that's at sort of human level. A lot of this stuff I'm sure made amazing sense back in the day, but as it's grown, all it does is block sightlines. It doesn't add any color, it doesn't add any interest, and a lot of it's kind of gone amorphous. We think that by limbing up the trees and making sure that they stay healthy for a long time, we're bringing in a group called Carroll Tree Service to take care of all the trees and make sure that they're fed properly and they're well maintained. So there's no color right now. It's everything you see is just. So the idea is to add color in sort of large quantities at the. Give me 1 second. So is to add a lot of flowers and a lot of color that's at the courtyard level, and the trees provide the shade and the canopy and the look of the place. And so that's the direction. The further south you go toward the hill, the fewer trees there are, and they're dying as they come up the hill. There's one that's out there right now that's kind of half dead, and he believes that these trees would only have another 5 to 7 years left. There's actually 2 cherry trees that are in the courtyard as well that he thinks, probably given the size of their roots and how old they are and what their soil structure is, he said, look, could we take them from lasting for 7 years to 10 years? Yes. But he said, I don't recommend keeping those trees. Those trees are going to be a nuisance. He says, get rid of the 2 small trees, take the 2 Japanese maples, do everything you can to beef those up and try to get 15, 20, 30 more years out of those. Plant 2 solid trees in their place and let those grow so that when these Japanese maples run their course, then you've got 2 new mature trees and you replace those. So we're looking at a pretty comprehensive tree program, which we're going to end up taking a bunch of trees out. So I'm not going to tell you that we're not going to take any trees out. The trees in the parking lot, all of those, but everything that's on the edge of the garage, we're going to save, and we're going to go out of our way to save. The big oak tree in the front, we're going to go out of, and anything on the perimeter, we're going to save. But the ones in that parking lot are going to have to go. But Steve's comment is that those trees are way too big for the amount of space that they have to grow, and it's kind of a miracle that they've gotten to this point.